Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. So, in my tier list video, one of the strongest reactions I had of people disagreeing with me was about the Dwarfs versus Beastmen matchup, so let's take a look at it today. Got Kazarak on a chariot here, a couple of Centaurs with throwing axes, we've got a Brave Shaman Lore of Death on foot, he's got Purple Sun and Soul Blight. We've also got Butchers of Kalkengard here, some Razor Gore chariots, a line of chaff. And I have more slid here as well. Over on the far side, we've got a couple of pig herds. Razor Gore herds are very cost-effective right now. And some additional hounds in the back for disruption. For my dwarven opponent here, he's got a couple of cannons, some Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, miners mixed with dwarf warriors in the front line, 3 units of Slayers, which is pretty standard in this matchup. One of them is Dragonback Slayers. And we've also got plenty of Thunderers as well. A few of them have even got some XP chevronage going on. So right off the bat, we're going to be throwing those stones right in the center of the pocket, just trying to do damage to whatever high-value infantry we can. Kazarak comes in for some nice disruption. And he's going to do some armor-piercing anti-infantry damage in here. Doesn't want to stay engaged with the Slayers or get shot by rifles too much, so he's going to pull away there. And you can see I kind of went like I was going to engage with my Ungors and then just pulled him back to try and pull some of these miners out of position. Again, all of this is just focused on disrupting my opponent's formation, kind of pulling him out of position as much as possible. Throwing axe is going to get in the back line here and hopefully throw some axes at those Slayers. Meanwhile, we've got this unit of hounds here, again, just coming in to disrupt some of these missile units, keep them from firing as we start to kind of collapse this flank a little bit here. You can see the Razor Gore chariots now moving in, and we're just sort of only taking piecemeal engagements and only engagements that are favorable to us. It's kind of how you have to play the Beastmen in a lot of matchups, in my opinion. But here, Kazarak plus the Chariot, both juiced up with a nice little buff there. The Apocalyptic Vision, Deadly Onslaught on Kazarak himself as well. Going to do a bunch of damage here. Whereas Dragonfire Pass, and even some Slayers also, definitely taking some damage. The combination of the Dragonback Slayers and Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, though, is a little bit dangerous, as the Dragonback Slayers do imbue weakness to fire. Unfortunately for the Dwarves, though, because they're all out of position, miners way up in the front line where they shouldn't be, and these pigs are now able to get into the back line here and charge through on some of those Thunderers and so on. Don't want to necessarily stay engaged with the Slayers that are here, so we're going to start to pull away and see if we can't support some other matchups. But all of this means that the Eye of Morslid, while it had been getting pounded by cannons, right now is relatively healthy. We're going to drop a big Overcast Purple Sun here as well, just to try and do, again, some anti-infantry damage. Hopefully deal with these Slayers relatively well. It does a little bit of damage, pretty decent. Not bad at all. The Razor Gore Chariots, unfortunately, getting bogged down by the Dragonback Slayers, are taking quite a bit of damage, and the Butchers of Kalkengard, who have mostly just been held in reserve up to this point, are now going to get activated as things are pretty well disrupted, and I've done quite a bit of damage to all the different units of Slayers. Razor Gore herds just kind of ping-ponging around, rear-charging these different miners that had been engaged on Ungor Spearman herd, trying to win those engagements. The Butchers get through, and they get right on top of these cannons here to just absolutely butcher the cannon crews, also setting up some nice blobs with the Eye of Morslib to continue to toss into. And at this point, the opening up the Dawi Onion has definitely proven reasonably advantageous. So I've got these two Centaurs with throwing axes just kind of parked here, throwing at whatever decides to come in their vicinity. And yeah, shutting down these missile units, you can see, is my priority number one, of course, to keep Kazarak and the Butchers alive. So Kazarak himself pushing through, getting right on top of this big blob of Thunderers here, not allowing them to get online. Butchers of Kalkengard continuing to just absolutely butcher the cannon crews here. There are still some Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and even a few Slayers fighting in here as well, so not wanting to take too much damage, I'm going to go ahead and pull away, unfortunately, before the cannon crews were fully shattered. But we do, again, still have these Centaurs with throwing axes in the area. Fortunately for me, the Brave Shaman got beat up by Dragonback Slayers, which is not the best. I definitely need my magic still. But so far, so good. Things are still very even. Razor Gore Chariots took a ton of damage, but they are momentarily back from rallying. But this is a great pick for me. I'm able to get these Razor Gore herds, the Butchers of Kalkengard, and Kazarak all back here to wreck these Thunderers. And you can see the Slayers are trying their best to follow up and support, but being stunted Dwarfs, they are having a hard time moving their little legs. So yeah, that is going to lead to these Thunderers, which had some chevrons getting routed there, which is very unfortunate. You can see the Centaurs are throwing axes here, also continuing to disrupt. The Brave Shaman's probably going to get chased off here, but both the cannon crews did get finished off by those Centaurs, so yeah, things are looking good. That does mean that the Eye of Morslib will survive. It's very low, 1600 HP left only, but was able to survive the cannon onslaught there. And although the Eye of Morslib is a relatively risky pick because of that specific reason, because cannons are good at outranging it, if you play really rushy and aggressive with Beastmen, as you should, in my opinion, you're not going to be fighting... I mean, your opponent's going to have other things to deal with, let's just say that, and they probably won't have time or resources to shoot 5 more sleep long distance. But anyway, Belagar here, who's been leading the Dwarven force, making a stand against some Centaurs with throwing axes here, doing some good damage to them. But unfortunately, the Thunderers have completely been dealt with. I'm using these Razorgore herds to chase some of them off now. The Butchers are making their way back with Khazrak here to try and finish off these last few Dwarven units in this final stand here. And yeah, Bray Shaman trying to find a way out of this situation. Unfortunately, all of this is impassable, so he is a little bit stuck. But nonetheless, Slayer is going to be pushing through, Dragonback Slayers even, to try and finish off these Ungor Spearman herd. Maybe it looks like they actually just reverse course, but yeah, they're not wanting to get caught up probably in the Ungor Spearman herd. Unfortunately, it does look like their attack order got cancelled there because the Ungors caught up with them, but at this point, the Bray Shaman comes back from route. You can see the Butchers of Kalkengard able to finish off the last few Slayers here. Not the best, but hey, there's only about, what, 3 or 4 of them left, so yeah, the Thunderers come back in. That's not great, so we're going to need to finish them off. Khazrak finishing off this unit, and the Razorgore Chariots were able to get away from those Slayers and are also just kind of being used to clean up some tattered Dwarven infantry all across the field. But yeah, Eye of Morslib gets a good hit. There's 11 Dragonback Slayers left there. These Miners are going to come in and interrupt the Eye for just a minute. And these Razorgore herds can get brought back from route here. They are, yeah, not doing a whole lot right now, but that's okay. As for Belagar himself, honestly, with Revenge Incarnate and stuff active, I don't necessarily want to fight him directly with the Butchers of Kalkengard, so we're going to let it be for now. Lots of rallying units all across the field, but here's where it really matters. The Dragonback Slayers are able to somewhat get back here. Yeah, a few of them do actually get back here and start doing some damage to the Eye of Morslib. You can see him taking a few hits there from these Slayers. And yeah, it's not going to be the best. Obviously, there's a very high value unit to lose. He has used up most of his ammunition already and racked up 166 kills. So I've absolutely got my values worth out of him, but still don't necessarily want to lose him. So we're going to use these Ungor Raiders, or sorry, Ungor Spearmen to try and screen out here. Normally, Spearmen very questionable against the Dwarves, but I just needed some chaff infantry to help support all these monsters, so yeah. Khazrak himself grinding through what's left of these Dwarf Warriors. We've still got the Razorgore Chariots online as well, despite all the damage they've taken. 79 kills, single XP Shadowrun up to 80 now, it looks like. Meanwhile, yeah, just trying to keep Belagar away from everyone else, basically. But the Eye of Morslib actually got routed off there, now coming back from route and got the Warp Gaze on the 3 Dragonback Slayers, looks like, left. And yeah, despite the fact they have the Warp Gaze, looks like he was moving, but he gets beheaded by some of those Ungor Spears, and then he actually takes one down with the Death Blow. Very nice. There's one Slayer left, and what would you know, the Ungor Spearmen heard run from him, which is just amazing. Actually looks like they're chasing another unit, but at this point, the Centaurs are throwing axes. Razorgore herd going to come in and clean up these last few dwarf units in this pocket. But here's the story of the day. This one Slayer, he's on a mission here. Cygor missed once. This Slayer's got 20 HP, guys. Double axes out. Will he be able to finish off the Eye of Morslib here? Eye of Morslib takes a swing and misses. Still 20 HP on the Dragonback Slayer, and look at that, he actually shatters the Eye of Morslib. Just absolute resoluteness, unbreakable. Man, this is what being a Slayer is all about, and although unfortunately the Dawi are going to lose the day here, many grudges will be written, this Slayer at least can probably say Slayer Oath fulfilled, as he did just kill the Eye of Morslib literally by himself with 20 HP left. So this guy right here, true legend of the Dawi people. Like I said, though, unfortunately it wasn't enough to win, and so we're going to fast forward through the late game here as Belagar gets ground down by various Beastmen units, and eventually my opponent is going to admit defeat there. So very well played. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. Yeah, it's an interesting one. You know, this is sort of the traditional way of thinking about this matchup, right? Is Khazrak on the Chariot, or just in general, Chariots are a huge issue for Dwarves, right? 254 kills on Khazrak at the end of the day. Definitely a huge tool here. Between him and the Eye of Morslib, they did most of the heavy lifting here. I mean, 82 kills on the Razorgore Chariots, not bad. 57 on these Razorgore Herd, and an XP Chevron means they did something. 65 on the Butchers of Kalkengard, also pretty decent, but definitely you can see this very well illustrates the danger, especially of armor-piercing chariots, which the Beastmen have plenty of. And just in general, the Beastmen do have plenty of good counter units for what the Dwarves can bring, but I will point out there is one thing that my opponent did not bring any of. That's gyrocopters. Personally, I don't think the cannons are worth it whatsoever against the Beastmen. Because they're fast and they have great disruption tools, it's really hard to protect artillery against Beastmen. On the flip side, I didn't have that many tools to deal with flying units in that particular build. Didn't have any Harpies, only really had the couple of Centaurs with throwing axes, which you can deal with, with other ways. Having one cannon might be worth it, but just in general for the Dwarves, the best way I've found of dealing with single model chariots is you need to use some speed debuffs and then use either a gyro bomber. You get it right up next to the chariot, and this 1100 missile damage is actually legit, and you can blow them up in a big hurry. The Brimstone guns recently got a little bit of a buff as well, so they do more missile damage. They're also a little bit more viable here. 18 ammunition is not amazing, but the bombs, both for the gyro bomber and copter, obviously will do a lot of bit damage to Beastmen infantry, and their main guns will blow up chariots very efficiently. The Razorgore herds, as long as you can get them enraged into something that will kill them, like Slayers, generally you want to try and use ranged tools to do that. But, I mean, in that same sense, if you're worried about Harpies, what you can do is just bring... Personally, I actually really like Bugman's Rangers here. I don't think you really need the armor piercing of Thunderers. I mean, maybe your opponent's going to bring some Bestigor, but you will have the tools of dealing with them regardless. I really like Bugman's Rangers here for a number of reasons. Number one reason being they have regeneration and charge defense against large with reasonably decent melee defense. So, like the pigs, for example, even like the Razorgore Chariots and stuff, they're not going to do as much damage to the Bugman's Rangers. Bugman's Rangers can heal a bit, they can fight reasonably decent in melee, and of course, having stock, you can kind of have a hidden line of Bugman's Rangers somewhere, draw the Harpies in with your Gyrocopter or Gyro Bomber, and then just unleash a massive volley to very quickly just finish off the Harpies. I mean, with 4 units of crossbows, you can finish off Harpies in like one volley, literally. So it's really not too much to worry about enemies counter air tools in this particular matchup. Summon Manticores are not super common here. You may see 1 or 2, but again, Manticores you can shoot with your ranged units on the ground, enrage it into some Slayers or something, and then your Gyrocopter is safe. Really, the main thing with the Gyros you have to worry about, believe it or not, is Ungor Raiders. Even though they have terrible AP values, they do have a very high volume of fire. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Beastmen, there we go. So yeah, Ungor Raiders, because they have so many unit models, the volume of fire is enough to do quite a bit of damage. I mean, they only have 1 AP per shot, but 90 units shooting at you, especially when they can all make contact on a big model like Gyro Bombers. Gyro Bombers really don't have much HP, so they will get taken out in a big hurry. Besides the Ungor Raiders, Centaurs with throwing axes you can deal with some of your other ranged tools. They don't really have the range to be able to get in close. So yeah, that's my best advice for those of you dwarf players who are sick of dealing with chariots and just get terrorized by them all the time. Believe it or not, the Gyro Bomber is a good counter option. And again, you want to get like almost right on top of them with the Gyro Bomber. The closer you are, the shorter range you're at, the more, because of this kind of missile damage spread, the more missiles are actually going to hit. And if you're able to hit with all of these missiles to actually do this 1100 missile damage, that is a lot of missile damage. And you can take out, Khazrak on the chariot, let's see, just in terms of his HP level, 3,700 on the ground, only 4,300 on the chariot. So in, give or take about 40 seconds, you could potentially kill Khazrak with the Gyro Bomber. Just think about that for a minute. And you guys will kind of see why the recent buffs to gyros and sort of the development of gyro play has changed this matchup in my eyes. But certainly this is a good sort of showcase of the traditional thinking in this matchup, right? Which is that Beastmen Chariots just run over Dwarves. They have a lot of really good armor-piercing units, so in general it's pretty tough. But Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Definitely had a lot of really good discussions with people about this matchup as a result of my tier list, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.